welcome to the Monthly Marquee. I'm so
Thank you.
happy to be interviewing you. I wish we could be doing the big limousine ride and all of that other stuff, but this will just have to do for now.
Sounds good.
Okay. So you are what year at Elizabethtown High School now?
I'm a junior this year.
You're a junior. How long have you been dancing with Allegro Dance Theater?
I think this will be my 14th season with Allegro Dance Theater.
What's your earliest memory of dancing with them?
I remember my first recital, and my aunt and cousin came, and so I remember just being really excited, and I was just really excited because I got to put on like makeup, and I had a cute little Daisy costume, and I was just really excited. And I remember just kind of going out on stage, and the lights hit you and you're kind of like, and I remember doing that. But all around, I look back and watch the videos of like my first recital, and I was a little sassy thing on stage. And I don't know, I don't remember myself being that sassy, but I just always thought it was funny.
So now that you're a junior, are you less sassy or more sassy?
It depends on the role. Like last year for Visiting Princess, I had to be really sassy in Cinderella because she's like trying to steal a prince. And I had a really fun time with that. So it depends on the role. I feel like sometimes I'll bring a little bit of it into every role I do. But I just really like performing, so.
What's been your favorite performing experience so far?
Cinderella is always my favorite every year. It's always something I look forward to every year. Cinderella is always my favorite.
So will this be your first year playing the role of Cinderella?
Yes. Last year I was fairy godmother. Gotcha. So this is my first year as Cinderella. So
well, you can definitely be more sassy as the fairy godmother than you can as Cinderella.
Cinderella can be a little more sassy with the prince, but definitely more so fairy godmother can be more sassy than Cinderella.
So how do you, let me ask this a different way. What do you get out of performing and dance classes and dance experience that just in general helps you get through the day, either at school or through the COVID crisis that we're all dealing with? What have you learned through all of those experiences that you can apply to real life experiences?
Okay, so whenever I perform, you always have to be prepared and be alert. So especially with COVID, it seems like a new thing comes out every single day, and it always changes. And so you just have to be ready to be on your toes, and it may not work out the way you want it to, but just being able to be on your toes and able to adapt, that's a big one.
Really
just
big.
Able to adapt and just be professional in the way that you adapt to things, I think would be a big thing, because things happen on stage, whether it's someone messes up on their choreography or someone misses their cue, and you always have to be ready to adapt and not let the audience know that. So
yeah, I feel like I've been doing improv for about 7 months now. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yes. Definitely.
So you've got Cinderella coming up. What else do you have lined up this year as far as dance? You're taking dance at the studio itself now?
Yes. So after Memorial Day weekend, we were back in the studio.
And what is that like now? How is that different?
So we all have our own spot at the bar. So sometimes we would double up, like 2 people at a bar. But this year you have your own bar, and you try to stay the most in the middle of the bar that you can. And then we have our masks, of course, throughout the whole class. And then Miss Carol is really good about keeping everything clean and sanitized, especially the bars. Like right after we're done, she'll come across and go all the way around with her alcohol spray. And she's just, I'm just very proud of the way that the studio has come together to keep us all safe during this time.
Well, I think we all talk about the fact that when you're I think it goes for high school as well. When your class that you're in, either high school or dance, or when you're in a show together, there's something about doing that project together that binds you together. And you have to lean on each other. You have to be supported by each other. And I think in a lot of ways, this crisis that we're dealing with has made those bonds even stronger.
I agree with you. Yes.
And when you're old and gray and my age, and you can look back on these times and go, yeah, that sucked. That was really bad. But I learned something about my friends. I learned something about my teachers. I learned something about myself that I think we will all find has made us better people as we go forward.
Definitely.
Just hard to see in the moment right now.
Definitely. It's hard to stay optimistic.
So what are you doing at E-Town right now? How have your classes changed there?
So I'm on the hybrid schedule, and it's AB, and I am Group A, and I go to school Monday and Tuesdays, and then Group B will go Wednesdays and Thursdays, and I'll log on like my normal class periods times during the day, and I'll do my classes while, say, the other half is in their class, if that makes sense. And then on Fridays, teachers will just put assignments on Google Classroom and you'll finish those. So there aren't any Zooms or anything on Fridays.
Gotcha. But you don't get to sleep in on Wednesday and Thursday?
No.
I actually think that's good. I mean, keeping a schedule, I think, is really important, and not only because it's important to be responsible, but I think having a schedule helps in times like this.
Definitely.
It gives you just a little bit of sanity throughout the day. Otherwise, you lose track of what day it is. I mean, I've had a couple of those weeks early on that were like, I haven't a clue. It could be Monday or Saturday. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
What you're a junior now, and you're looking. I remember my junior year was not about looking toward my senior year. It was about looking toward the year after my senior year. What is ahead for you? What are you hoping to achieve down the road?
So I definitely want to be an architect, and I would want to dance through college, but I don't think it's something that I would do after college. Right now, I don't think it is. I thought about teaching for a little bit, but then I really got into architecture and how much that interests me. And I think it's just something different to do. So I'm excited to explore that and see if that's something I definitely want to do later on.
Now, how did you get interested in architecture?
So last year I took an engineering design class, and we would design things on the computer. And I really, really liked doing that. I just loved designing things and doing them on like programs. And so whenever stuff kind of got shut down, I was glancing at like colleges, and I looked at UK and I saw that they had a college of design, and I was like, okay, I really like designing. So I look, and they have, I believe it was called 3884, Studio 3884, and it was for their College of Design, and high schoolers were able to take this camp, and it's usually on campus, but it was virtual this year. But so they kind of hit all of the areas of their College of Design, and the architecture just really interested me. So I was happy that I was able to just go for that and just see if it was something I wanted to do.
Isn't it fascinating? We think about COVID and all the things and all the restrictions that have been placed upon us, and all the things that we can't do. My mom just called, and we're not going to have Thanksgiving. Really, really tough things to work around. But in the middle of all of this, there have been these crazy, bizarre opportunities that we either would not have known of or didn't even exist, but came out of people trying to find a way to move forward, like what you were just talking about. That's fantastic. My dad had wanted to go into architecture and ended up going into art and teaching because it was fewer years of college. And
Yes.
he already had 2 children. So he had to earn a living faster than he might not have wanted to if he were not married and had kids. And so I kind of got some of that through osmosis through him. And so I've always designed sets. And in college I studied, I have, hang on, let me find it here. So this is a triangle ruler. And you probably haven't even used one of these, have you?
I used one last year in my engineering class.
Okay, so I didn't have the computer programs. All I had was flipping this thing until I could figure out how to use it correctly. So you were talking about those programs. I'm like, I would be so lost on those programs, but I know how to use that ruler. And so that's how much I use it. It was just out of arm's length.
That's hilarious.
But so I've used architecture in every show that I've ever directed. It's always been part of, because for me as a director, I have to know the world that I'm going to move the actors around in. And in order to do that, I have to know how long the walls are, how far it is from the couch to the wall. So I can't have 12 people there if it's only 4 feet. And so I've always kind of been interested in that stuff as well. It's a fascinating, wonderful world. One of these days, I'll have to show you some of my dad's artwork.
I would love that.
He went on, like I said, and he taught art at North Hardin for 27 years.
Oh.
And one of the things that he did was, he always called it architectural portraiture. He would do paintings and sketches of houses and buildings, and it could be like somebody's the home that they were born in or whatever. And he was somehow, through color and shading and the angles, he would imbue these buildings with personality and life. And so one of these days we'll do that. I'll show you some of those things, because I think from your dance experience, where you're having to imbue movement with life, we think, waving your hand there, what life is there, but every movement is expressive and tells a story. And he was able to do that with line. And as an architect, you have to be able to do that with the line of the building. When you see a structure in the middle of a city, a true artist as an architect is trying to make you feel something. It should say something about what happens inside that building. So I totally get it. I'm really excited for you. I think it's a wonderful thing to be doing. And I think you'll be really, sorry, I keep talking over you. I'm sorry. I think you may not see it at this point, and if you do, please share with me. But I think you'll find that the training that you've had as a dancer will be pulled in to your work as an architect.
Definitely. I think just the whole thought of expression and dance, and especially when you're playing a character, of how you relate to that character and what you're feeling, and you're able to express your ideas and just your creativity through your motions, like you said before. And then in architecture, you get to collaborate with the client or maybe your colleagues and just express your ideas on paper and into like a building, which I think is absolutely amazing.
And the beauty of line is so important to both dance and to architecture. it's really exciting. I really can't wait to when you guys come in for Cinderella. I'll take some pictures of my dad's work that I have hanging around the house, just to pull up and show you like an old man on his phone, just so you can see. But
that sounds great.
Maggie, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed getting to know you better. One last thing before we go. Why is the PAC important to you?
The PAC has just given me so many opportunities to express myself and just learn about the whole, like, so much goes into a performance that someone sitting in the audience does not realize. And so the PAC has just given me so many opportunities to learn and just professionalism in a work environment and staying organized. And it's just so important to me. And people can come in and have the opportunity to experience the arts, which sometimes everyone needs a little bit more of in their lives, the arts. And so I just love all the opportunities it gives people, and it's so enriching.
Now, Maggie, do you know which you're one of two Cinderellas or just one Cinderella this year?
It's just me this year.
Just
Yes.
you. So any of the Cinderella performances, they'll get to see you in that role.
Yes.
That's awesome. Sometimes Carolina has 85 Cinderellas. So I know we have to kind of keep track on these things.
A lot of us.
Maggie, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
You too.